In my opinion, there are way more people that have suffered serious vaccine reactions that are now vaccine compromised that deserve to be in school and be allowed in public. Way more of those than there are severely immunocompromised that are in a state where they're put at risk by going out in public. So I think again, we don't have to separate. Everyone can have the same rights and can work together and learn together and play together.
What about in your practice? How many immunocompromised people
None.
do you typically have?
I don't have any.
How many have you had? Like, if you could kind of think over your 20 years, like, what would you say would be in the category of immunocompromised would fit in there?
I don't remember any patients that I've had on chronic daily steroids for like a severe immune disorder where they were compromised by taking steroids. The three kids I've had with leukemia have never came into my office for the couple of years that they were getting chemotherapy because they're cared for by their oncologist. So they were never in my office, and when they finally came back for pediatric care with me, they were no longer immunocompromised. So I've never been in that situation.
What about vaccine compromised?
Oh yeah,
How many would you say?
I've personally seen many hundreds, and I've talked to families where when you include all their other family members I've talked to, I'd say many several thousand people that I've personally listened to their story of vaccine reaction.
How many, like a typical pediatrician, like in our nation, let's say, how many immunocompromised people do you think that they would have in their practice at any given time?
I know. I mean, like some of the big groups near me where there's 10 pediatricians and it's a huge office and there's tons of kids coming through. Yeah, I mean, they probably do have a few.
Like as in 3 or 4? Or
Yeah,
I mean, 20,
50?
50?
I don't know, like maybe one per pediatrician, not every day, but just in their general practice.
And
Maybe at the most one. And
Out
so,
of how many does a pediatrician typically have in a practice?
well, they'll see
Patients?
40, 50 kids a day.
No, I mean like
They'll
out of
have
their
like a
clientele.
few thousand. Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out exactly how common this is because this is really used all the time.
Right.
As if this is a real risk and this risk is everywhere. But yeah, I've never personally come across someone in that condition,
Right.
any child, any parent that I've known of that. I mean, I know that they are out there. I know there are kids that have undergone cancer and different, serious types of transplants and things that put them in that condition. But for the amount of injuries that I'm seeing on the other side of this, it really does not seem totally comparable. And so we talked about in the Senate
Right.
hearing podcast about the guy who represented the immunocompromised people. And he said there were about 250,000 across the nation, adults and children,
Right.
which means I'm guessing that, the rate of children is probably lower in that. And that's, when you think about how many millions of people that we have, it's really not a lot. Not enough to say that you have to force laws removing exemptions because these are the
Right,
people that you
right.
have to protect.
Right.
Especially not when you're eliminating the voice of all the vaccine compromised.
Yeah.
The fact that that part is not part of this equation, is not part of the debate, I don't know how these people don't have a voice.
Because the vaccine compromised are the most invisible,
Yeah.
Disabled portion of our society because no one believes you exist.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's very sad.
exactly it. They are
It's
the
very
single
sad.
most invisible, disabled portion of the population. That is 100% true.
Right. It's
Deep
very
thoughts
sad.
with Dr.
Yeah,
Bob.
yeah, I know.
No, but really,
Saturday Night
it's,
Live.
it's serious. That is,
It is. It's very
these
sad.
kids
It's
are
tragic.
disabled
It's a
on
huge
different
tragedy.
levels. Yeah, on different levels they're disabled and they are completely invisible. They are voiceless. And isn't it just awful that the parents of these kids that are trying to fight for them are the ones that are vilified in this? I mean, like,
Right.
the article that you get that coverage on that kid who has cancer who may have been exposed
Right,
to
right,
someone. They
right.
weren't actually exposed, but they may have
Right.
been. And so this is a cause. Let's have those exemptions stricter. Nobody's talking about all the people that were exposed, but exposed to vaccine injury.
I know.
And there needs
It's
to be
very
more people.
inconvenient. It's just too inconvenient for our mainstream medical system and our government to even get grasp or even take a look at it. It's just because if they did, where would that go?